with the dealer, because that's it's against casino policy. Because you might be slipping them something. So just make sure it's on the way out. And when you're done for your session, say you have a big stack of chips and you want or something, ask the dealer to color Roulette, which means if you have a bunch of these red chips in the casino are always $5, and greens are generally $25 as well. Whites or blues are $1, that way, and blacks are $100. It's pretty much about the same from all casino. So you have a big stack of chips here. You don't want to take these all to the cage, especially if you have more than this. You can't. And also the chip trays for every game, they're going to get depleted, and the dealer needs those back to give to other players. So when you're done for your session, just push them to the dealer and ask them to color up, and they'll give you bigger chips for your smaller chips, and you take those to the cage. When you're betting different denominations of chips, say you wanted to bet $30. So this is a 25 here and a 5. You would put the largest denomination chip on the bottom always. Think of it as a pyramid. The heaviest chip goes on the bottom, and then the lighter ones go on top. So that would be how you bet. You wouldn't bet it like this. And also, don't be afraid to ask questions. The dealers are there to help you. They want you to have a good time. They want you to win. Definitely, if you don't know what you're betting, you shouldn't be playing. So just, if you have any questions, I'll ask you. They'll help you out. Let's talk about something called the house advantage. Now, it's very important when you're considering what game to play and actually the best that you're playing in that particular game. The house advantage or house edge is the percentage of that the casino expects to hold from each bet on the particular game. Now, a game like Blackjack, the house, if you play it what we call basic strategy, which means hitting when you're supposed to, doubling down, just making every correct decision based on the hand you have and the card the dealer is showing. The house edge on Blackjack is very small. It can be as little as one half of 1%, which is really good. It's about right. So if you want, generally, the more you can win on a game quickly, the higher the house edge is. So say you're playing roulette and you're betting on like one number to hit. The house advantage on that is about 5.28%, but if you hit that number, it's pays 35 to 1, so that's a big return. So the bigger the return generally on a bet, the higher the house edge it is. Kind of like the lottery, because odds of winning the lottery, it's an extreme example, but the odds of winning a lottery is extremely small, but I think it's like something like 40 to 50% house edge on a standard state lottery, but obviously you can win millions of dollars, so that's how that works. The lowest house edge games, Blackjack and also Baccarat. I didn't see any on the main casino floor up here, but there's some Baccarat tables in the high limit room, but that's probably out of some of our price ranges. But Baccarat's a very simple game. I wasn't going to cover Baccarat, but if you want to explain how want me to explain how Baccarat works, I'll be happy to do that. Let's see, covered that. I just want to mention this gambler's fallacy. A lot of people don't realize this. Every action in a gambling or a casino world is independent in and of itself. So say you flip a coin 15 times and it's all been heads. What are the odds that the next flip is going to be heads as well? 50%. Yeah. So say you're playing roulette and the last 20 spins have been red. The odds are exactly the same. It's not going to. What happened in the past doesn't matter. So don't keep that in mind as you're playing. A lot of gamblers are very superstitious about certain things. I get that a lot as a dealer. So just keep that in mind and just use the math when you're playing. And let's start with Blackjack here. Okay, so for how many of you have played Blackjack in a casino before? So most of you. Okay. Do you have a question there?
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to ask about tipping since we're talking about
I'm going to cover that at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. So Blackjack, if you notice in the casino, there's cameras everywhere, and most of the signals done through Blackjack are through nonverbal hand signals, because you can, as a player, you can say hit or stay, but there's no proof that you actually said that unless you actually wave your hand to stay. The motion for stay is to wave your hand horizontally across the layout like this. If you want to take a hit, either tap the table or swipe like this. So the dealer's going to, if you don't do that, the dealer's going to ask you to do that because the camera needs to see that in order to say, you say you said stay, but you wanted to hit, etc. There's going to be a problem. So just make the hand signal. I also never touch the cards if it's face dealt face up, which I think almost all of the games are 6-deck face up blackjack. So in that case, just don't touch the cards when you're on the way out. There is a single deck or double deck blackjack game which is dealt face down. In that case, of course, you would look at the cards with your hands. The most common misconception about blackjack is that the object is to get as close to 21 as you can without going over. Actually, the correct way to play blackjack is to get closer to 21 than the dealer, or let them bust. The best bet is to play what we call basic strategy. Now, I actually printed a bunch of basic strategy cards for all of you. I don't think I have enough for all of you, but would anyone like a basic strategy card to study for blackjack? Yeah, this is very helpful. This is your key to playing the best you can and reducing the house. You also want one basic strategy? It looks complicated, but it's very simple to read. I'll go over it. Okay, sure. Sure. Anyone else? Basic strategy?
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
I can do that.
Okay. Hey, that's great. I have one for myself. Perfect. Okay, so if you look at this card, it's pretty simple. You just look at your hand is on the left side. So based on if you have 7 or less, you're obviously going to hit. So that's not on the card. But if you have 8 or higher, or if you have an ace and a non-face card, which is called a soft hand, those are also covered on the left side. And also all of your pairs are towards the bottom. Your 2s through aces. And the biggest factor in deciding what to do in blackjack is the dealer's up card. Now that's covered on the top, so depending on what the dealer has showing as their up card, your action will be different. So say you have say you have a hard 13, and the dealer is showing a 7. And if you just meet those two on the grid, you'll see that it's an H, which means hit. And the D is double down, which means you so you have a $10 bet out here. To double down, you would match your bet and just put it right next to the original bet. And the hand signal for double down is one finger. Don't do the middle finger. Index finger, one card, and that dealer will give you one more card, and then you have to hold. That's the purpose of doubling down. You can't take any more hits after that. The S on the chart means stand, so that means just wave your hand. You're not going to take any more cards. And the P means split, and you can only split pairs or any 2 cards of equal value. You can split 10s, but you would never want to split 10s because you have a 20's a winning hand. Never split 10s. Also, never split 5s because if you would split 5s, you would rather double down because 2 5s is 10, right? And that's the second most advantage hand to double down besides an 11. If you get a 10, you'll have 20, or if you have an ace, you'll have 21. You're in really good shape. So never split 10s and never split 5s in blackjack. Other than that, the chart's pretty self-explanatory. I'm sorry. Yes, when you split, you will be playing 2 hands of equal value. So we'll cover that, and I will do some example hands later. So we'll cover that, so you'll see how it works. Oh yeah, one of the keys for on blackjack, the dealer must hit on 16 and anything below. So once they get to 17, they have to stay, unless it's a soft hand like an ace and a 6. That's a soft 7, a soft 17. They have to keep going. At least in this casino, most casinos are like that. And I actually have some percentages for you. This is very interesting. If the dealer is showing a 5 or a 6 up as their up card, they will bust 42% of the time. That's almost half the time. That's why if you look on this card here, if the dealer is showing a 6, you want to stay if you have anything 12 through 16, because if say you have a 12, there's a lot of cards that will help you, and only the 10 will bust you. However, if the dealer is showing a 6, it is still advantageous to stay on that 12 and let the dealer break, because they're going to bust almost half the time on a 6. If the dealer is showing a 4, they're going to bust 40% of the time. Even if the dealer is showing a deuce, which is kind of a scary card for a lot of blackjack players, the dealer will bust 35% of the time on a deuce. So keep that in mind. And let's see. We're going to cover. Actually, no. We're just going to go ahead and run a few sample hands here because it's going to cover the double down split, etc. So Can I get 4? We're going to play 4 hands. Can I get 4 volunteers? Hopefully, generally people that have not played Blackjack. I want people. Is there anyone that has never played before? Okay, yeah, come on up.
I've played at home, but not at
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I've never played in a casino environment. Go ahead and come on up.
No, I've never played in a casino.
Okay. And feel free to come up to the table too if you guys want to take a look. And, okay, so here, we're going to give you some chips here.
Oh, sure. You're going to be the guy that takes up all the space.
I don't think we should be. I don't think we should even be bringing these things onto the floor.
You know what? Most casinos do allow this. They don't allow any electronic stuff. So if you have like a card counting app on your phone, do not pull that out. As far as I know, I don't know if it's a state law, but in Washington State, you are allowed to have basic strategy cards at the table. So it might be different here. I actually don't know. But oh, good. That's excellent. Thank you for covering that. Yeah. So he just said the dealers here allow the basic strategy cards. So. Go for it. That's good to know. Yeah, yeah.
And so basic strategy cards, or this is a very standard way of.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yep. And this is for a 6-deck blackjack. I think that's what they have up there. So. Okay, so we're gonna do some sample hands. Just go ahead and place your bet in the betting circle. Okay, now. I should cover side bets here. Most blackjack tables will have some sort of side bet. Play it at your own risk. The house advantage is rather high on the side bets usually. This one, I don't think it's up there, but it's called pair square. It's very simple. This is the most simple side bet ever. If you get a pair, any pair, it pays 15 to 1 on what you have here.
Yeah, it's 15 to 1. Yeah, pair square is 15 to 1.
Well, that can't be right because that the odd dude you would be making money because the odds of getting a pair. I don't know. Whatever.
That is what it is upstairs.
Yeah, oh, it is what it is upstairs? Okay.
If you do play it, it doesn't have to be at the table minimum. It could be like for like the
Right, exactly, yeah. That's a good point. The table minimum will always be posted on the table. There's $5 tables up there. That's the minimum, basically, that you just want to see.
They do have one $3 table.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. I didn't even see that. I didn't know around this.
It's probably a busy table.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the bonus bets on any game, they don't have to be the table minimum. They can be as little as $1. So, yeah. Okay, so, yeah, we'll go ahead and play here. Hopefully you guys have your strategy cards, so you'll be able to see. Okay, we'll just read off this. I'll show you how this works here.
Cards have lots of
You should have had that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a pair of 8s here. What does it say to do on your card when the dealer has a 6 showing?
Double down.
It depends on.
For you, yeah. We'll get to it in a second.
I got 12, so split.
Yeah. Split the 8s? Okay. So how you would split the 8s is you would take, you have to split for even money, so take the same amount that you have on your bet from your stack.
No, when it has a 6 for the pair of 8s, you're way down here.
Yeah.
You're,
No, he split. So go ahead and take.
So what is split again?
Yeah, split, you're basically making 2 hands from what you have.
Oh,
so you're going to play 2 hands starting with the hand.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll make sense once you
So I put down this
exactly.
again.
Yep. Yeah, actually, don't put it on top here, just next to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you never want to add to your bet. In any case, once you have it set on the hand, so you just want to set it next to it. And the hand signal for split is you just go like that.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so the dealer's going to go like that. Now you're playing 2 hands starting with an 8. Okay. So we'll do this one first. Oh, now you have 11. What should you do on an 11 against a 6?
So you have his 6, and you have an 11.
Let's double down.
Let's double down.
That's right. Okay, so to double down, grab 3 more chips. And put it right next to it. And remember the hand signal for double down is 1 card. Yep, perfect. Look at that, 21. And 15. What should you stay on a 15? What should you do on a 15 against?
That's
Yeah, because remember, the dealer was going to bust 42% of the time on a 6. So let me bust it. Okay, 12.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, 12 against a 6. What's the right thing to do?
Right thing is to stand.
Stand, okay.
It's a really
what's
low
that?
number.
Perfect, thank you.
12 is a really low number.
Yep, it is. Yep.
Really.
Okay, 10 against a 6.
It's at the bottom range of stand.
Double down, right?
Statistically,
Alright,
he's gonna
17.
bust,
Do
so
it.
that's why it's happening today.
Yeah. Exactly.
10?
Wouldn't this be?
Yeah, so what does it say to do there?
Double down.
Double down, right. Okay, so up on the side, please. Don't cap your bet. Okay, perfect. Okay, so do 1 card. Actually, do this. Hand signal. It's all about hand signals.
Yeah,
Perfect. 20, that's nice. Okay, pair of 5s, what would you do with your pair of 5s here?
Double down.
Double down, yes.
So at the end of the night, we'll play 300.
Yeah, like it would have
Because this one especially, you need the hand signal because the dealer might think you're going to split the fives, which you would know never to do. So you make sure.
What double down is?
Double down is you double your bet like you just did, and you're electing to take one more card.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't hit. No matter what happens on this card, you have to stand. So that's good. You have 20. So now I'm going to resolve my hand. 16. Too many. All right, everybody wins. Yay! And so everyone that doubled down just doubled their money on that hand, and you stayed on your 12.
So my 12?
Yeah, and see, if you had hit on your 12, you would have taken this queen and you would have busted. So
Yeah,
you did the
I'm
right
okay with that.
And she tripled her money.
That's the other reason. Is
So-
on the 11, no matter what I draw for the next card, I'm going to either hit blackjack or
Yeah,
not
exactly.
it up.
Right, yeah, 11 is the best hand in blackjack to start off with, because you can double down and draw that 10, yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so that was it. Let's.
Do you have any more of those strike cards?
I have one more, and I will give it to you as soon as I'm done with this. This is
In fact, we could all take over the same table. Be like, oh, we
yeah.
So that's gonna like alert
You guys want to play one more?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all of a sudden we got a full table.
Oh, good luck.
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Actually,
So is that a
that's
six or
right. This is a 6 or a 16. Now, however, when you see a hand like this, I would always call it as a 6 because you can only improve your hand. You don't want to use it as 16 because you always make it better. So we have 6.
hit, right?
hit, yeah.
And how do you signal hit?
Oh, hit is just tap the table or swipe like this. That's perfect. Yeah.
Assuming
Now you have
17 and
16.
above is all same.
Yeah.
So, what does the
I
card?
think it's probably six.
Oh, well, actually, read the card.
Oh, sorry.
16 versus.
This is kind of a player's option. 16 is a really tough hand against a dealer 10. You're kind of
dealer
screwed no
10,
matter
so
what you
he's
do.
over
But,
here.
So I should hit.
but
Yes, it says you should go ahead and hit.
Yeah, it
But
does-
that's a borderline.
it's a very
Yeah,
borderline
like,
play.
I don't
yeah.
have to
A
if
lot
I
of
don't
people
want to.
stay on their 16s against a 10. It's not a bad play.
Well, I'll just do it because.
Well, just thinking about the odds of it, if I have a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10, a jack, a queen, or a king, your 16 is no good. You're going to lose the hand. So a lot of people, and also if I have, say, a 2 through 5, there's all the chance I'm going to draw and make the hand. So I would try to get as close to 21 as possible. So that's
It's
the
fine.
odds of it. Okay. So you did bust there. Okay. Yeah. All you can do is play the best you can. It's not going to work out every time. So 18?
And I'm assuming 18 to 21 is
Yeah, 18 to 20. Yeah, 18 to 21. You're going to
Like,
say
I'm good.
Yeah. 14?
Yeah.
Okay.
I.
You got to hit?
It's a
Okay.
10, yeah.
Okay, 15 now.
It's
Still a hit.
If you want to.
if you want. It's
Yeah, still a hit. 15.
Yeah, dealer 10 is probably one of the hardest things to.
Yeah.
it doesn't get much worse than a
Yeah.
dealer ace.
Yeah.
So-
Dealer ace is actually top to 10 is just as hard though. Almost 19. Stay. Okay. See what I have here? Maybe I don't have it. Oh, look at that. 15, 17. You guys both win.
Yeah, it's
It's good. Okay, so that's blackjack. Hopefully.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this upstairs while it's still fresh in my brain. I'd say go.
Okay. So yeah, I heard there's a $3 table, right? So that's a great place to start. You know, it's fairly low risk. You know,
Maybe just hang around.
Now,
$3
$3 table is $3 per
$3
hand.
minimum per hand. Yeah,
Per hand, okay.
that's all you have to play.
Like, what's the minimum amount of money to start playing?
Well, you can buy in for $3 if you want to, but they don't want you to just continually buy in. So I would buy, if you're playing at a $3 table, I would buy in for no less than 20.
Yeah.
That's a good amount.
Do you get the chips from the cage and then go to a table? or do
No,
you
actually, no.
go to
The dealer racks tables have racks in them, and you just give them the $20, and they'll take the chips out of the tray.
Okay.
And yeah, but when you're done and you want them, you're actually cash back. You go to the cashier cage for that. Okay, let's talk about roulette now.
How do you do that? Do you,
Question?
do you take the chips to the?
Yes, you take the you take
Cashier,
once you call her up, as I was explaining earlier, you take to the cashier cage, and they'll give you cash for those chips. Yeah.
Okay.
And tips, or no, you're gonna get that
Oh
later.
yeah, I'm going. Well, I was going to talk about that at the end, but okay, sure, I'll talk about it now because I can explain how it works. Okay, so dealers, they make minimum wage. As a dealer myself, I know I make my living off tips. How you do that is you deal an efficient game. You're friendly. You're helpful to the players. Provide good service, just like anything in the service industry. There are two ways to tip the dealer. You can just give them the chips directly. Say you had a winning session. the best case scenario, what I would think is about a 10% tip would be a very generous tip. So say you made $100 on your session, toss them $10 at the end. Another way to do it is to bet for the dealer. Now, dealers actually really like this because it makes them part of the action. We'll pretend this chip is a $1 chip because that's pretty typical. So say you wanted to bet $5. To bet for the dealer, you would just place it directly in front of your bet. You can do that on the bonus bet as well, but if you were just playing the main hand, just go like that. So you're betting $5 for yourself and $1 for the dealer. When you win the hand, the dealer will pay it like this, and this $2 will go to their tip. So that's how it works. So yeah. A lot of actually, I'd say probably most players will actually tip that way because it makes them feel part of. It makes the dealer feel part of the action. You know, obviously the dealer's really rooting for the player now. That's
Which way do you prefer,
like,
Johnny?
Exactly.
Which way would you prefer?
On most games, I would prefer to be bet for because blackjack is about even money, right? You know, what's kind of strange to me is people that bet for me on the really long shot pays, so like the 100. I mean, maybe I'll hit I've never hit a really big one, but it's most likely going to the house. I don't like my tips going to the house, so. But yeah, we appreciate it either way. Appreciate any direct tip or a bet. So that's that. Okay, let's go on to roulette here. I have a roulette layout here. Let's actually go to this table for that because I don't think it's going to fit on this blackjack table.
I think with insurance, you never want to defend insurance.
Oh, insurance. I did not cover insurance. I didn't cover insurance because you should never do it, but if you want to do it. Okay, insurance. If the dealer is showing an ace, insurance is a bet that they will have the blackjack. I wouldn't do it because the house advantage is pretty high. But how it works is if you think the dealer has blackjack, put half the amount of your bet. So you're betting $10 to ensure you would put half your bet on this line right here. And if they have the blackjack, it's going to pay 2 to 1. So they're going to take this and give you the 2 to 1 back. So you're going to break even if they have the blackjack. That's how insurance works. But you should still never do it.
Yeah. They call it sucker bet.
Okay, so this is a roulette layout.
It's American.
It is American, yeah. There's only American roulette. Unfortunately, I'll explain what that means in a second.
Means they have a 0 and a double 0.
That's right. Okay, now roulette. There's absolutely no skill involved in this game, so if you like a game where you're just kind of betting on a hunch with the possibility of a huge payoff, this game is for you. And actually, there's bets on this layout that are very almost even money, kind of like blackjack. It's still pretty high house advantage. So you can really bet however you want on this game. There's a great variety of bets. They pay anything from 1 to 1, even money, to 35 to 1, and I will explain that. When you cash in on a roulette table, this is specific to just roulette. No other games do this. You will put your cash on the layout in between spins, just like any other game. But on a roulette table, you will get chips that will only work on the roulette table. Now, how that works is there's usually 5 or 6 people playing at one time. So just imagine if everyone had the same chips and we're tossing them on the layout, who is who? You know, you wouldn't be able to know. You will get a certain color of chips when you cash in. Usually they're just red, blue, green, whatever. You can even pick your color if it's available. You'll see what's available. So you'll buy in and you'll get a certain color of chips, and those will be your chips. So remember what color you have. Don't take anybody else's chips. So that's that. Don't take chips off a roulette table because once you, the chips on a roulette table are not good anywhere else in the casino. You have to cash them in through the roulette dealer, and they will give you regular casino chips to take to the page. Okay, so let's see. Let's go over the bets now. The most basic bet is to bet on red or black. I think the red and black is on the same line. I can't remember how it's up there, but just place it obviously as red here and black here. As you can see, half the numbers are red, half the numbers are black, so it's essentially even money on those bets. I'll explain why that's not exactly the case in a second, but okay, we have past 1 to 1. There's 2 to 1 bets. On the bottom here, you are gonna, if you bet in this box, you will bet any of these numbers in this row are going to hit, and if you win, it's 2 to 1. So say you bet here, and it's the red 9 pops up. That's a winner. Okay, 2 to 1. Beyond that, let's see. I think there is. Even. Oh, sorry. Yeah, even odd is essentially the same as red and black. It's 50-50. Those are 1 to 1 also. Let's see. There are 3 to 1 bets here. There's a 1 to 12 because there's 36 numbers on a roulette wheel, right? So 1 to 12, the odds of winning are 3 to 1, so that's where you're going to get paid. So if it's anywhere in this section. So 1, 2, 3 for that. There's also 13 to 24, that covers the middle set, and also 25 to 36, the bottom 12 numbers. So that pays 3 to 1. Now let's cover betting on the specific numbers here. Okay, so the big payout in roulette is if you bet on a specific number and bet only on that number is 35 to 1. So say you're betting $5 on it, 35 times 5 is 165, 175. It's 175 for a direct number, so you can make a lot of money really quickly if you get lucky in roulette. Now, if you don't want to bet on exactly on a number, there's different ways to bet around the number. Now, these are called inside bets. Anything on a number in this section is called an inside bet. And those have different limits than the outside. The outside bets are the red and black, the even, everything outside. I went to the casino floor last night and I saw there's 2 roulette tables. One of them is a $5 minimum and one of them is actually a $1 minimum table, but you have to bet a total of 5 anywhere. So pretend these are $1 chips. You'd have to bet, if you want to bet inside, you have to bet at least 5 chips anywhere on the or you can just bet $5 on the outside. Covering the numbers, you can bet what's called a split, and that's covering 2 numbers. So say you wanted to bet the 7-10 split. I'm a bowler, so we're going to bet the 7-10 split, $5 right there. If either the 7 or the 10 hits, the split pays 17 to 1. I think, yeah, 17 to 1 on that $5 bet. So it's still a very nice payout. You can also bet the corners, which is betting like say there. If the 10, 11, 13, or 14, any of the 4 corners of the numbers touching that box hit, it's 8 to 1 payout. So if a $5 bet, it'd be $40 return on that one. Let's see. You can bet the street. Not a lot of people do this, but if you can bet these rows here are called streets. So say you wanted to bet the street on that 1, 2, 3. If any of these numbers hit on this street that you're betting, you would bet on this line here. It is 11 to 1, so it's still a good payout. And I think that's it for all the bets. Now, the house advantage in roulette comes from these nasty guys up here, the 0 and the 00. If these were not present, everything else would be there would be no house advantage in this game. Unfortunately, when you bet, most people bet on the numbers, and when the 0 or 00 pops up, usually people lose everything because it doesn't. They don't bet on those, but you can bet on the 0 and 00. It pays the same as any number. Now there is one bet here that is odd, and it's this one right here. Right here, if you bet right here, you're betting on the 0, the 00, the 1, 2, 3, I believe. Yeah, I think that's right. It pays. I can't remember what it pays. It's 13 to 1 or something like that. It's odd. Yeah. Anyway, just for your information, the dealer will know. So I think that's. Is there any questions on roulette? How that works? How the betting works? It's pretty simple.
Do you play roulette?
Occasionally, not very often, because it's a
bad.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they don't actually have this game or craps at my casino. You can only find these at the tribal casinos. It's very popular. So well, we're gonna go to craps. Most of the panel is going to be on this because this game is actually fairly complicated, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible for you. Let me get my dice here. Okay, how are we doing on time here?
11:30.
Okay, good. It's probably going to take half an hour to explain craps. Okay. All right. Okay. So craps is a dice game. Now each round of craps is played. Craps is a dice game played in rounds, and each round is called a point. Now the first roll of a point is called the come out roll, and the purpose of that is to establish a number that the shooter or the person rolling the dice must later hit in order for everyone to win. Now, I'm going to explain. Just to keep it real simple for beginners that have anyone played craps before? Okay, a few of you have. Okay, that's good. The most simple way to play craps is to bet on the pass line here. I'll explain how that works. So say the table minimum is $5, you would put $5 on the pass line, and when you bet on the pass line, you are betting with the shooter. You want them to win. You want them to hit the point because that's how you're going to get paid. 95% of the players, probably even more, play the pass line because if you bet the other side, which is the don't pass right here, you are betting against the shooter. Everyone else at the table is going to hate you because you're betting because you want it's bad juju because you're betting on the shooter to lose and then you win. But the odds on the pass and don't pass are about the same. It's a little bit about 1%, which is a really good bet. So how does the pass line work? Let's go ahead. Who wants to be a shooter here for craps? Okay. Everyone wants to be a shooter. Yeah. Okay. Give you the dice here. Okay. So he's going to bet on the pass line here. And we have a 9, so the 9 is going to be the point. Okay, I forgot the killer button. There's going to be a puck here that says on. That'll show you what the number is. So he established a 9, so we'll put that just right on the 9. So basically, how he wins is he has to roll another 9 before a 7 comes up. 7 is the bad juju number in craps. Once that 7 pops up, all the bets on the pass line will lose. Unless he rolls a 7 first. If he rolls a 7 or an 11 on that first come out roll, which he just did, the pass line bet pays 1 even money, and then he'll start do another point. So, let me explain one more thing here. The best bet in the casino is taking the odds in craps. There is no, a lot of people know, there's no house advantage in taking the odds. Now, I'll show you how to do that. If you're betting the pass line, and say he rolled a 9, you're going to take, taking odds is to back up your bet. I can't remember how much it is here. It's usually like 2. It's a 2 here? Okay, it's a 2 to 1 odds. So the maximum you can bet on the odds here is double that, so $10. So you go and put $10 behind your bet right there. Now, when he rolls that 9, this back bet is going to get paid at true odds. There's no house advantage whatsoever on that. So, and I believe on a 9, it's a 3. Let me make sure it's a 3 to 2. Yeah, so he's going to get 3 units for this $10. He's going to get $15 back, and that's the exact odds of rolling a 9 before a 7. So this is pretty much free money for you here. It's a no house advantage. So go ahead and roll the dice. See what happens.
Question?
Yeah, question. 4.
So
Yes.
do the payouts change based on what the button is on?
That's exactly right, yes. If the numbers are different, the odds pay a little bit differently. Now, the pass line will pay the same when he hits the number, no matter what the number is. So that'll pay 1 to 1. That's why you want to play the odds. Because say he rolls a 10, the odds of rolling a 10 before a 7 is very slim. And you're still only going to get paid that 1 to 1 on the pass line. So go ahead and roll again before it's no action there. And we have a 6. 6.
Light action on this table.
6 again.
Can I bet the 6?
Yeah, I'm going to cover that later. I'm just doing it in steps here. We got 8. 8. Come on, 9. 6 again. Boy, people are betting the numbers.
You're losing my money.
And 4. Okay, let's cover another bet. Okay, we have a thing called the field here. You see, this is the most simple bet on craps. All the numbers here are good. It pays even money, except if this is actually mismarked. It should say 2 or 12. The 2 will pay double, and the 12 here, I just saw the layout. It pays triple here, which is good. The house advantage on the field is about 2.7%. It's not a bad bet, and it's obviously resolved very quickly. So we're going to just take a bet on the field here on this next roll. Go ahead and toss it and see what happens. Okay, we have a 12.
Oh, craps, midnight.
Yeah, the 12 doesn't matter for the pass line bet because we're still going for the 9, but the field bet hit huge because that pays 3 to 1 on that 12. So. There you go. You made money on the field. Good job. Okay, let's bet on the field again. Okay, 5. 5 is a no pay on the field because you can see it goes from 4 to 9, so that goes away. 9, you got it! Finally. Okay, you got it. Okay, so the 9 finally hit before the 7. He's got paid 1 to 1 on the pass line, and as we said, it was on the. It's a kind of like a blackjack pay on the 9 for the odds. So it's 3 to 2. So that is all his, and a new point starts. Good job. Okay, who wants to be? We had another point. Who wants to? You want to shoot? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's get more people in here betting now. Let's now that we know. Back out of the way. Yeah. We can't have too many people. It's a small layout. But. I think you could put this in.
The person bet on the Christmas tree. What's that? You're the person bet on the Christmas tree. Yeah, the garbage box.
You can go around that side too. Who wants to get out? Who wants to bet?
got 8.
Yeah. Could be the jerk.
You jerk.
Okay, let's see.
It's probably your card reader.
Okay, yeah, let's cover betting the numbers here. Okay, now after the come out roll, you can take it's called a place bet on any of the numbers here, 4 through 10. And they pay obviously differently. How they pay is when the shooter rolls that number before 7 comes up, they pay. It's a way to be continuously into action as you roll, because it can be very boring to wait for the 9 to come up, as we saw there, because it could be many rolls. But if you want action on every hand, bet the numbers. The 6 and the 8 are the best numbers to play, because
As you can see.
yeah, you roll a bunch of 6s. Just think about it odds-wise. The odds of rolling a 7 on a pair of dice is exactly 1 in 6. The odds of rolling a 6 or an 8, there's 6 ways to roll a 7, and there's 5 ways to roll 6 or an 8 each. So think about it. If you bet both the 6 and the 8, there's 10 ways to win, and there's only six ways to lose on a 7. So I can be to your advantage to do that. How you would bet the numbers is you would toss the chips to the dealer, and they'll place it for you. Just tell them what you want. Now the odds on the 6 and the 8 are you actually can't really, you can bet $5, but that you wouldn't want to do that because the odds pay 7 to 6. So you would want to grab a $1 chip here. So we'll pretend the blue chip is $1. Toss it to the dealer and tell them you want $6 on the 6. This is actually not how it looks on the casino, but they would place your $6 here, and when the $6 when the 6 hits on the shooter's roll, they'll pay you 7 back. And you'll have the option to keep that bet there and let it ride, or just take the bet back. Most people let it ride until the shooter rolls at 7. And in that case, all the bets will be taken away. So,
and as you constantly win, you'll just pull your
right. As you constantly win, hopefully you constantly win, you'll be pulling your money off and adding it to your stack. Or you can tell the dealer to what's this term? Press it. Thank you. Press your bet. Say you rolled it up 6. Say someone was betting the number on 6, and 6 shows up, and you're gonna get paid that $7. You can tell the dealer to press your bet. That would double the bet to 12. They'll go like that, and you can take that extra $1 back. People can, if the shooter is hot, so to speak, and they're rolling a lot of numbers, people press their bet. You can make a lot of money in a hurry. And very exciting craps table also. Okay, so we're gonna have a new point here. Has everyone bet that wants to bet? Can you explain yeah, I will. Yeah, well, okay. We'll do that. The come bet is basically it's another pass line. This can get really complicated because there's the main point that the shooter rolls, which everyone's trying to hit. But if you bet the come, the next roll is going to be another point for yourself, basically. So say the point is 6, and you bet on the bet a come, and he rolls a 10. Then you're basically added a point for yourself. You need him to hit that 10.
Well, they'll take that bet.
Yes, they will. They will move it up to the 10. Yeah. But for simplicity's sake, it's best to, especially when you're first starting out, just play the one point. Because once you start betting lots of numbers, come on lots of numbers too. So, but yeah, okay. So let's go and do a point here. Okay, we have 7.
7 winners! Frontline winner!
Okay, so everyone on the pass line wins, even money. Okay, and the don't pass loses. That's the difference. Okay. Oh yeah, one thing. If you do bet the don't pass, you will win if a 2 or 3 comes up. If the shooter rolls a 12, it's a push and nothing happens. Okay, so go ahead and roll it. And we have 10.
Puppy's paws!
He knows all the terms for the dice rolls here. Okay, so the point is a 10, so we're number 10, so we're going to be...
Every furry's favorite roll.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, the paws are so cute!
Okay, the 5 and 9 you can bet $5 because those pay 7 to 5 return. The 6 and 8 though.
On the deal.
Oh, and if you wanted to bet the 4 or the 10, those pay 9 to 5. So if you bet $5 here, you can get $9 back. But the house edge is the lowest on the 6 and 8. That's what a lot of most people. So okay, so it looks like we have some odds bets here. 2 to 1. Now on a 10, the odds bet, the odds of rolling a 10 before a 7 is actually 2 to 1 worse. So you get 2 to 1 on your odds.
And you can press at any time.
Well, you can't touch the pass line then, because that's locked in there. You can take the odds bet. Yeah.
When you can add them at any time too.
Yeah, up to the maximum, because every table has a maximum allowable odds. I think it's 2 to 1. 60 minutes. Okay, so go ahead.
7 out. 7 out.
So this all goes away. The don't pass guy wins.
Yeah.
Jerk. Breaking even so far.
What are
Don't ever. Don't. Those are the worst. Okay, so basically how that works is big 6 and big 8 are the same thing as betting a point, but they pay worse. So don't do that. Just yeah. So you'll.
And they're only a one time.
Yeah, it's a
one roll bet.
No, they stay until the shooter rolls a 6 or an 8. But this only pays even money. This pays 76. Yeah, so you get an extra $1 a bet by placing the point. So don't mess with the big 6 big 8. I don't know why anyone would ever bet that. Now let's do the last thing. I would recommend staying away from these bets if you care about house advantage, but a lot of people play them for the thrill of the big hit. This middle section here is called the hard way section. Now, if you look at the layout here, there's certain pictures of dice. Hard way is a pair. Perhaps. Say this one right here, the pair of 3s, that's called a hard 6. Otherwise known as the national average. I won't go into that. Yeah. Okay. So basically, how this works is, if you want to bet, no, these don't have to be the table minimum. These can be $1 or the minimum $1. So say you're betting $1 on the hard 6. In order to win this bet, which as you can see here pays 10 for 1, the shooter has to roll that hard 6, the pair of 3s, before a 7 comes up and before any other 6 comes up. So it's kind of hard to do, but it pays very well, as you can see, 10 to 1. So there's 4 hard ways: the hard 6, the hard 10, the hard 8, and the hard 4. And they pay a little bit different. So if you want to bet a hard way, just again, the dealers control all the bets here, so just toss your money to the dealer. A very popular bet is to do all the hard ways and just toss 4 $1 chips to the dealer. Don't do it like that. I'm a bad example, I'm sorry. Just toss $4 to the dealer. It's actually, this is a good time to explain. The dealer there's 3 dealers at every craps table. There's 2 that are on the sides doing the money, and there's a guy in the middle called the stick man. He controls the sticks, rounds up the dice and everything, kind of controls the game. Now the stick man is the guy that controls the bets in the middle here. So toss $4 to the stick man, tell him all the hard ways to put $1 on each one. And if one, obviously you're not going to, well, you could win all 4, but it's very unlikely. But when you get paid on one of them, you're going to say the shooter's rolling and he rolls that hard 2, hard 4, I'm sorry, that you're looking for. Case 8 for 1. Yep. Little Joe. Yep. You're going to pay $8 and 4 1. Yeah, I don't think anyway, anytime you see a bet that says 4-1, this bet goes away. This bet goes to the house, but you're going to get 8 in return. If it says 2-1, which I think is what it says up there, it'll pay 7-2-1. You're going to get that original bet back, so it's the same. So those are the hard ways. Now there's also the 1 roll bets, which is this is the extreme example. The house advantage is extremely high on these bets. This section down here. The snake eyes, pair of ones. We call this the
Ace Deucey or the Ace Tray.
Ace Tray, Ace Deucey, the Ace, the 1 and the 2. That pays 15 to 1. And now all these bets here, it's only 1 roll. It's not like a hard way where it stays there until it hits. You bet here on the Ace Deucey or the U11, which is the 6 and the 5, it's the same odds. If he doesn't roll that on that next roll, it goes away. But if it hits, it pays 15 to 1. The U11 is a very popular roll. And also the box cars, as we call it, it's the same as snake eyes. 30 to 1. So if you bet $5 on it and you get real lucky, he rolls that snake eyes or something, that's $150 for you right away. So, those are the hard ways. Okay, does anyone have any questions on any bets and craps? How it works?
Let's go with the pass.
pass and then behind the pass.
Yeah. If you play the don't pass, you can still bet the numbers like everyone else.
That's all the numbers.
If you want to make the most out of it, just like
How do you get it?
then you're in the game.
It's just the shooter. If you wanted to bet on the 11-12, you would field or
Just go to
What were the odds on the field?
the odds on the field 1-1. 3, 4, 9, 6. If it comes up, it's 1-1. If it comes up, it's double 2-1. And if it comes up, at least in this casino, it's triple.
So what are the house odds?
Oh, the house odds on the field. The one up here, it's 2.78%. It's around 2.5%. It's fairly low. It's not a bad bet to make.
baseball. You could
Yeah,
5 cards done.
for craps, okay. For roulette, if you wanted to bet for the dealer, what I would do is the kind of offset the bet. Let's say you wanted to bet $1 or whatever, you go like that. Make sure you tell the dealer that that's for craps, the same thing. Say that pass line for the dealer, just put it next to the bet. They'll probably ask you to Oh no, there's another, this is a popular bet for dealer too, it's called a two-way. How that works is you're betting on the hard ways in the middle. And just say two-way hard 6. You get $2. And you bet $1 for yourself and $1 for the so the dealer will get
It's like a thing to between dice as well. It's like a thing between dice as well.
That's about it. Let's do another coin in craps here.
Between dice. Like a thing.
Casino mode.
When you throw dice, there's like a technique.
Anyone else want to play? People have never played craps before. Craps honestly is a very fast-moving game, and I don't want to say you should play craps, but you should definitely at least kind of know before you set on a craps table. You don't want to hold up the game. They want things to go.
Yes.
A good way to practice is has that electric table that just has the dice that pop up in the middle, and it's lower level than.
Who wants to shoot? I don't think Kid is gonna let me do it
You can
again.
only throw $1 in there.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to learn. There's an electronic craps table there, and that's a great way to learn how the pen works before you go.
You can throw $1 in there.
$1, that's great. That's a very expensive way to learn. Okay, so pass line? Yeah, oh no, you don't want to bet the odds. Yeah.
Your odds, you have to wait for the come out roll. 6.
Okay, let's get some people on this side, because there's, you're at the actual, Okay, so go ahead and roll. Okay, we have a 6. 6 is the point. That right there. Okay, so does anyone want to take odds? I hope so.
I have the entire game right over there. We can all watch. We don't have a strong number. Just have a cycle watch.
Oh, so, okay, it's actually $6 on the 6. You have I'll just put $6 on Oh, no, I'm sorry. The reason you would put $6 on 6 is because when it hits, it pays 7 to 6. So if you bet 5, you're actually short of money.
Give me a bunch of change. Here you go. 80 cents.
Just throw it down and say, I need another call.
Yeah, don't remind me. Okay. And 7. Oh no. Too soon. Okay, so everything goes away. This is bad for example.
Yeah.
It's also very real. Don't pass. Now you can also take odds on your don't pass too if you wanted to play don't pass. Now the problem with taking odds on a don't pass is that you have to bet more to win it. Because once the come out roll happens, the odds of you winning the don't pass is greater than the people on the pass line. So say let's do an example. Say the point was 4 or 10. We'll just say the point was 4. This is for all you don't pass guys. I want to be jerks at the table. Okay, so say the point was 4. In order to take double odds on the don't pass, you actually it goes by how much you would win. So in order to win $20, you actually have to bet $40 on the odds. You're betting 40 to win 20, so you go like that if you wanted to take the full odds. When the 7 hits, which is most likely going to happen when the 20 scores, there's also so say the 7 rolls up, don't pass as a winner, you're going to get paid even money on first base drawing, just like past and the dealer's going to pay 20 because
Kind of based on that's it. It's just
because it's much more likely for you to win on the don't pass.
What's the point?
So that's how that works.
Thank you, sir.
So what is your favorite bet on?
Craps, I just normally play pass line. I actually don't play the don't pass occasionally. If you're gonna play the don't pass, just keep a low profile. You're gonna be winning. You're gonna be winning when everyone's like, yeah. Because one time what you do, you dance around. Because you're gonna get some stares. Yeah, 7 going 7. But tables run very hot or very cold. You can generally tell a hot table. People screaming and yelling and stuff. We're gonna get excited. That's a hot table. That's when the shooter's rolling their points. You know, they're doing 7s on the come out roll. Everyone's making money. On a cold table, it might be to your advantage to bet the don't pass. I told everyone earlier what happened in the Pasos match. But it's just the camaraderie. You can tell people are losing. It might not be a bad idea to try the don't pass and see if it works for you. So, yeah, exactly. Get the cold dice in your face. Okay, so have any questions on craps? You want to play more points here?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, one more thing I forgot to cover. The shooting order at a table, on a craps table, it will go in a clockwise fashion around the table. One shooter will keep on shooting until they, it's called 7 out, which is roll the 7 before the point hits. And then at that point, the dealer will present 5 dice to you. The cup, you pick 2 of them, your lucky 2 dice, whatever, and then go for it. Please don't take extra time. Do not grab the dice with both hands. You see a bag of people go like this.
Kijani calls me like, Chaos calls me say, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they don't like it when you cup the dice at all. Other casinos are more strict about
Dice and what's the biggest line with Tiger?
Shooting, you have to, I assume with the table, you have to throw it
Great
off.
point. Thank you. Yeah, when you shoot the dice, they have to touch the back wall. If you don't, it's going to be called a short roll, and it's up to the dealer to make it to allow that roll to happen, or they'll ask you to re-roll. But just throw them. The best way to throw the dice, I don't want to do it here because I don't want to throw them off.
There's no wall.
But just toss a soft lob, like up in the air, and so they land. Because if you throw them hard, they might bounce off the table or knock chips over. They don't want to do that. So, nice soft lob towards the back, at the wall. Yeah, hit the wall. Make sure you hit the wall. Okay, and one more thing to say here. Oh, was that it? That's it. Yep.
Yeah, you don't like to throw it at them.
Yeah. Let's do one more point here before. Okay. Okay, yeah, we got 4 minutes left. It's the last point of the day.
Doesn't trust your rules.
Probably you want to bet don't pass $300.
Okay,
we have a 10. Okay, 10. Oh yeah, that's another good point. A 4 and a 6, that's called the easy 10. It's not the hard 10. The hard 10 is the pair of 5 as we covered earlier. So, like an easy 8 would be 6 and a deuce.
It's the only thing with that blackjack table.
Okay, we have some hardware bets going in the middle here. Why not? Sure. You want to play numbers?
Depending on who you're actually
you're going to bet the $6.
some players are very.
And we have odds on the 10 here. Those pay. And then we're the odds pay on 10.
So they want you to play exactly how the odds that you should play. Like if you've got a 6, you should.
And 7 out. 6 out. Okay, we're going to give you a freebie. That never happens. That doesn't happen. What are we talking about? That never happens. That never happens. Free. Sorry. Oh, yes.
All you get is one on the right side.
You would be ready to go. You would be ready to go. This is obviously a very cool table. So. Okay, go ahead. No more mulligans. 8. Hard 8. Hey, the 8 hits. This guy bet 80 from 80.
Get up and go to
$6 on
they set the energy up.
Would you like to catch the bet or just keep it the way?
because I found that it's a lot more fun when you got everybody having a good time. Because there was a table at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas that was like that. I really enjoyed myself. I was losing money. Because the dealer was getting everybody was paying into, they were done.
Yeah.
Okay, you shoot.
Yeah, those are wow. That's
Oh, it was hard way. I'm
You
sorry.
get a good two hard
Yeah, it was 2 hard way, 10 for 1, so let's get this.
That's why I like to play
It's not like the movies where one person bets on.
Okay, so who bet the hard way?
Snake eyes.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so
press that.
you're pressing that. So by pressing that, I would give you 45 back, double that. So I don't have
Double, Kijani, do it.
We'll play some blackjack on it.
to press yours too.
Get it.
Oh, hard way, hard 6. Wow, hard ways are hitting it. The hard 6 pays 10 for 1 as well. Another $50. Wow.
Were these cards going to work?
Press yours.
I'm pressing.
Yeah, you can sit down with
45. I would use 45.
Yeah, if you have cash.
At least like
When you're
one more
trying to
thing
change it
here.
out, you put it down with your cash.
The boxes with numbers on the craps table are really easy. How the dealer keeps track of it is by the corners. There's usually 4 people allowed on each side of the craps table. So say you're playing in that position, you would be the top right corner by 1 bit. It's same with the hard one. So this would be your bet card.
Cards are
Your
free.
spot would be at this corner. This spot would be at this corner. And the person closest to the stick man in the middle would be in the corner. So that's how you know who's betting speech. Okay, yeah. Okay, go ahead and roll. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a 6. How much?
That's why there's 3 people.
Yeah, it's impossible to
They
go
usually
across
get
by
out of
yourself. So much going on. So he bet $40 here. It's not exact. You would be in multiples. I'll just say this right out. Bet in multiples of 6. I know that. You would bet in multiples of 6. If you were betting 6 on there. So we'll pretend that this was 30. That's perfect. Yeah, that's a multiple of 6. So you would pay 30 would pay 35. Yeah, 35. You get 35 back.
Sometimes they'll expire.
So we'll just keep that as is.
I'm sure they wouldn't expire like 2 weeks.
Party!
Fire.
I've never seen so many hard ways. Must be a furry. Okay.
It's too bad he's not playing for actual money.
Yeah, we're all feeling lucky when we're upstairs.
Oh, this field bet goes away. I didn't see those because they're at the age that don't count.
Yeah, the comps expire.
Another hard way.
7 out. 7 out. Out goes 7.
Okay. So everything goes away here.
Everything goes got rich again.
It all goes away. The pass line wins. Thank you very much.
No pass line win.
Okay. All right, that's it. Thank you everyone for coming. Appreciate it. And good luck up there.